Welcome back to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What up?
We did not film last week, so we're going to double up this week because I was gone on a cruise.
Yup. And I was gone a bunch too.
Yeah. You had a lot of travel. The last podcast, I think, is we talked about your Benny Keith trip.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so since then, you've flown to Georgia again.
Yep. Had to go up there, swapping out some equipment, doing some tweaks with our process.
Yeah.
And then back down here. Definitely going to have to go back up again probably in the next little bit when they get the bagger spun up. Cody's supposed to be coming up tomorrow to do that. And then...
Are you going next week to Indianapolis? Did you get your flights yet?
Yeah. So sweets and snacks should be a good time. It's basically a place where all of the sweets, treats, and snack manufacturers, retailers, sellers of any kind of get together and have a big conference. So we're going to look for like folks that can do inclusions and just other mix-ins, other fun stuff, and then just spreading the word about Fat and Weird.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
The best part about being a cookie business is all the expos are really fun stuff, in my opinion.
Treats.
I mean,
absolutely.
It's like candies, or the machinery is very interesting machinery too,
Yeah, I get lost in those. I love
like how stuff is made is really cool to see. And then you see some of these machines and you're just like, what does this giant thing do? And then they're like, oh, this literally makes, truffles, chocolate truffles. And you're like, whoa, automation's wild. So we have, you're gone. Then we have the expo next week, the Sweet Treats Expo that you're going to go to. And then on top of that, I guess this is kind of like, we'll get into the Fat and Weird, what's going on with Fat and Weird. We have really growing with DoorDash.
Yes.
We are consistently now putting out 40,000 cookies a week.
Yep.
Mainly for DoorDash, but I mean, obviously we have other customers as well, but we got at least 40,000 cookies going out every week now.
Like clockwork. Yeah, it's exciting. We've had to juggle processes. We're going to have to juggle processes again. Obviously, staffing personnel is always fun. We're in the process of ramping up. We talked to you guys about it a lot, but it's hard to get the point across to everybody that okay, now we're transitioning to net 30 payments and that, we appreciate. So it's hard. We got to show that we appreciate everybody, both in the short and the long, but in the short, we don't have a ton of revenue. We just spend it all acquiring this new business. It's going to take a little while for it to come in, but I think people get that here. And
I think they're pretty understanding of everything. But I mean, we've shared our victories with you guys. So last month was the biggest month that the company's ever had. So that's a huge victory for us.
And our birthday month.
Yeah, did it all on our birthday month. I just want to share that with you guys. I think that a lot of times people lack the transparency in business, and complete transparency is 2023 was a struggle. It was pretty much in the red the whole year, and we ended the year in the red. Yep. But wildly, our 2024 has already done so well that we are out of the red for 2023. Yep. That same money allocated put us out of the hole. So, and we're only 4 months through the year. Yeah. So really great things on the horizon for us. We have a lot of the new products, like the cookie dough, the megabytes coming out and things like that I think are going to be really huge for the company. But I think that thing for you to take away from this is that a lot of people quit when it gets hard. And if you make it through that, then you usually can come out successful on the other side. And not every business can make it through it. Like some can't, but if you're willing to suck it up
Well, we talked about this kind of initially. It's the unfortunate part of entrepreneurialism and business in general is if you have a solid business, meaning something people want. So we're in food. You could argue that it's trendier to eat a different dessert, but people are always going to like cookies. It's such a huge sector. Okay. If you can just hang in, there, take the punches, take the I made an oops here and an oops there, and it doesn't kill you financially. It doesn't kill you. Your people don't, even if your people all walk off. If you've got the resolve to get back up, dust it off, and get back to it, you'll win on just out of attrition. Because everyone else is going to quit when it gets hard. Some level, they're going to quit. If you can merely just not you'll win. That's all winning is. And yeah, it's
well,
crazy.
it was starting to get hard for me in 2022, and I had a lot of people leave Fat and Weird. I don't,
And it makes it harder.
Yeah, it's like, almost when people feel like you're going to the moon, they all grab a hold and they'll ride it. But the moment they feel like there's a inkling of doubt or that the ship may start to go down, like they bail so
Everybody
fast.
wants to ride on the rocket ship for sure.
Yeah.
It's
so
tough.
I mean, I think that in 2022, we turned over pretty much our entire staff by the end of the year and had all new people coming in early 2023. Yep. So, it's just interesting. I think we only have seriously 2 employees that have been here from the early days.
Yep.
So, yeah.
We still going.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's just strong.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very difficult, to weather that storm. But if you do it, then there's sunshine on the other side.
Yeah, man. And you do it long enough. You do whatever. You get used. It's not like you become cold or callous to anything, but you just go like, "That's what life's like." It's just, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Quit fighting with your sister. Quit.
Well, yeah, that reminds me. People will say when you're going through a low point, no, this too shall pass. But the same thing is also a high point, no, this too shall pass. Yeah. So if you
live in the moment.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster, and you have to enjoy every part of the roller coaster, or else it's not going to be fun for you. Nope. So, but no, that's I just wanted to celebrate that victory. So
cheers.
Good job. Oh, cheers, and cheers it. Cheers. There you go. This is this podcast today is brought to you by Versa Energy, bescience.com. You can use discount code Brad.
Yeah, it's good. I got the white cherry slushy. They don't have a ton of flavors yet, but they're working on it. So this one's good.
My favorite two, though, are the white cherry and the mandarin orange. Yeah, it's mandarin orange mango and the white cherry. I actually, on the cruise, I gave my parents a sip of the mandarin orange, and my dad was like, "Dang, this is really good." And I gave them the white cherry slushy the next day and told them it kind of tastes like a melted icy. And they were like, my dad was like, I want some of these. These are really good.
Yeah.
So
cool. Does he do energy drinks?
No, not really.
Oh, so if he doesn't, then he'll probably like them if he introduces them in because they have caffeine.
Well, yeah, and it's a low caffeine too.
I know, it's nothing bad, but I've known people that have given up sodas for a while and then they bring them back in. And
yeah.
I like sodas.
Actually, I have something you might find very interesting.
Okay.
So my dad has been having issues where he literally is just getting super bad cramps and spasms. Like his hand would cramp up and he couldn't even open his hand up.
Right.
And they essentially the conclusion that my dad has come to is that he's drinking too much water.
Okay. Too much water.
Right.
Okay. Could happen.
Right. So
usually don't, but could.
Yeah. So he's actually added in coconut water.
Okay.
He drinks 8 ounces of coconut water every day now.
Okay.
And he doesn't have the cramps anymore.
Okay.
But if he drinks more than his allotted 120 ounces or something, he literally cramps up.
So hypernatremia.
Well, I think it's you're flushing out all the magnesium, potassium.
Yeah, it makes sense. But normally it's because you can die from that too.
I know.
But it's a lot, and it's usually distilled with nothing in it, water. Because even water has stuff in it, and then all your food and all your salts and all your whatever.
Well, my dad does not salt his food at all.
Okay, well then you might need to.
Yeah,
or have a potassium. You typically have a sodium or a potassium issue with the cramping, and so you have to do blood work or whatever, figure it out. But I guess salt, or you could just salt your food if that works, or eat a banana. I mean, as you try a banana or whatever.
He actually said he takes a magnesium and potassium supplement. So to me, it would have to be the sodium.
Yeah.
So
because then you could easily flush if you eat low, no salt, don't eat processed foods, and drink a bunch of water. Yeah, you could easily flush your salt out enough to make you cramp.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting because I was like, why didn't y'all tell me? I could have
sodium in it. So you can
I was like, y'all should have just told me, because I would have been able to tell you right away that sounds like
salt tab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
want to salt it. He just doesn't like the taste of it.
I think that, my parents come from a time when salt was this, no, this, oh, it gives you high blood pressure, it'll kill you. And they have just lived their whole life, not really salting their food, which is weird because Aubrey and I salt the out of everything.
Dude, I could go without a lot of things, but salt is not one of them.
Yeah.
It completely makes sense when you reading about it in school or whatever, because you take but like whole wars and everything were fought over salt, access to salt mines. Makes sense. Makes sense. Food is so boring without it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just eating like however they cooked over like a campfire? Just like, here's your chicken leg.
What are the 4 things they say for food? It's like salt, acid,
heat, right? Temperature.
Is it temperature and then is it fat? I don't know.
Yeah, fats.
Yeah, fats, something like that.
For savory, for mouthfeel,
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so acids or whatever for sours and
right. Yeah, there's a show on
salt,
Netflix that talks about all of them. You know,
salt.
Yeah, but salt is like one of the
salt's important.
It's a 4 pillars of making.
And
good
I like
food.
sour stuff, and I like sour Asian dishes that have like more sour, even meats. But
and I think
I
Asian
give them
foods
sour before salt.
Asian foods are very heavily salted.
Yeah.
In general,
usually,
soy sauce, all that stuff is very salty. But I mean, even when you bake cookies, you put salt in it.
Flavor.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people see salt as like, I don't know, something you only add to savory foods. But
I think here's the problem. So like in like your parents' era was also the rise of TV dinners and processed everythings. And like they didn't really have a lot of their main preservative was sodium.
Right.
Really the only preservative was sodium. And so when you had people that had gone from table salting their food as needed to like 10 times the normal amount without any real acclimation. I'm not saying like we've evolved into it, but I think you're used to it now.
Yeah. Well, like my dad will like complain that like he'll go out to eat, like they'll do hibachi or something like that. And then he's like, I'm so swollen with all this sodium the next day, And I think that
if I
that's
eat like that, I get swollen.
Yeah. And I think they think that if you ate like that all the time, that you would that would happen to you, but that's like not true. Your body kind of reaches a homeostasis anyways, so eventually just kind of like levels it all off and everything.
Sorry, Eastman's loading up our little reaction stuff, and it's already catching my.
Got your attention? No.
Have any of these been fact checked or snoped or anything, or did we just pull random? No worries. All right, cool.
Well,
so we completely believe all this is true. Y'all, whatever.
We'll get into that in a second. I just want to talk about the cruise a little bit. Obviously, I mean, it was a fun time. I went with my sister and their family, and then obviously my parents were there. Before the cruise was the Hydro Jug event, and I know we haven't talked about that at all. But Aubrey launched her checkered 40 ounce, and then the floral 20 ounce Daisy 20 ounce, and the Daisy sold out in 1 minute. It was about 1,000 units, and then the checkered sold out of all 10,000 units in like 4 minutes. Because we had actually told people, Aubrey and I both thought so, and even the owner of Hydro Jug, this will be on the website for 30 minutes at least. Because the most people they had ever had on their website is 15,000. So if you do the math on that, not everyone's coming to get the checkered thing. So it's like, and there's 10,000 of them, so you should be fine. And
not today.
They said the text message went out, the text blast, and when she clicked on it, it said sold out. And so literally if you waited for a notification, like an email or text, and you didn't just get on the website.
Coders? They like have like a widget built to like get through that stuff that fast? Because that's crazy.
So a lot of the people that I've heard that were able to check out quick enough were the ones that have used Shop Pay. It's the Shopify built-in payment thing. So you're able to literally just click and go.
Speed click.
Right.
Yeah, power level through it.
And then supposedly if you used their app, it was allowing you to add it to your cart ahead of time, not check out. So the moment it hit, you could check out.
Download the app, y'all.
Yeah. So that was, but now the question is like, are they going to restock? And the owner of Hydro Jug doesn't really want to restock them because he wants it to stay limited edition. So Aubrey's trying to pitch to him that he does a reverse restock where he does a checkered 20 ounce and a floral 40 ounce. So that way you still had the exclusivity of the first ones.
Yes.
But Aubrey kind of gets like another little trickle
Hell yeah.
of the...
Get that bread.
Yeah. In fact, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's cool, man. It's a great design.
They had
the hell out of very trendy. And it's very on... So I don't know how long ago I had to come up with that, but it's very like on the money right now.
8 months ago.
Yeah. Good job.
But no lie, they the most people they had ever had on their website was 15,000, and they peaked out like at 39,800, so almost 40,000 people for Aubrey's launch. So that is like
that's killer. I'm proud of her.
Well, I think that to put that in perspective, guys, like to think about a company that's been around for 7 years now, has had multiple launches of all kinds of different products, and you almost 3x their peak. It would be like having a football stadium that holds 30,000 people, and you constantly have like 12,000 people coming in.
Well, the truth of the matter is, it kind of speaks to her reach, because there's a lot more competition now than there was 7 years ago or whatever when it came out. You know, there's so many Stanley clones that, and there's so many. You can get those dang things, basically some version of something that fits in your cup holder in any color combo you could want. So, you know, that's a real thing that people want to pay. And it's a hell of a better price than the Stanley, and it's a better cup.
Product,
anyway. It's a better product. So not even knocking that, but it's a premium product. You're paying a premium price for it. But it's cool that people like want to hang out and get that one from that company they like. You know, they could get a checker cup from somewhere, but it's cool they want that one.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. And I like that it's like off like cream or
whatever. So the cream is matte and the black is shiny, so there's a really cool contrast on there too. So it's off to the side, so I was checking it out over there.
Sorry. Caught my attention.
But no, so the event though was really great. So for people that didn't know, we flew to Houston. Houston is actually like Hydrodrug's one of their top markets. Yeah. And because Aubrey and I lived in Houston, we thought it'd be fun to go back there for the launch of this. So they rented out this like little studio, which, did you see pictures at all of the inside of it? I mean, Hydrojug did it up. Yeah. I mean, they created the coolest backgrounds. They had this really awesome displays. If you have them, you know, put them right here, Eastman, so people can see that the displays and pictures, stuff like that. It was a really, really cool thing. Aubrey and I were kind of both blown away by, I don't know, you feel special, you know, you feel special. Definitely. There was a line when we came. It was like a line wrapped around the building to meet Aubrey. And obviously people could get early purchasing of that and not have to worry about getting it online. So there were a lot of people there purchasing it. We were standing there for probably like 5-ish minutes, like as people were coming in. And finally someone's like, hey, are we allowed to take a picture with you? And then the moment they did that, everyone started lining up to take pictures with Aubrey. But Aubrey, like for the first 5 minutes, we were like, are people here to see you? Or, you know, I mean, but no, it was good.
That's cool.
That was a lot of fun. And then literally right after the event, we took an Uber down to Galveston and met my family there. They were all going to dinner, and we had just eaten like a pretty big lunch. Velvet taco. Yep. Really good. We had a big lunch, and we headed over to the house, and we just kind of swam in the pool and stuff like that while my family went out to dinner. And then the next morning got up and went to the cruise ship and got on. Yep. And then obviously the cruise was a blast. My parents had the genie room again, so a concierge, everything's free. You're super pampered. The experience was really great. The genie was the same genie that we had back in August.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had just gotten off the boat and come back like 2 weeks prior. Cool. And my mom requested her to switch rooms, you know, like to be our genie, you know. And so she was our genie, and she already knew us. So like she would, like the first day we show up to the room, there's chocolate chip, because I asked for them last time. There's chocolate chip cookies like waiting. There's like all these like pastries and dessert stuff. And then, you know, like every day she had chicken tenders and fries sent to the room at lunchtime for the kids. But yeah, it was really cool because, like I said, she kind of already knew us, and usually it takes them a couple of days, like figure out. Like first day she was like, oh yeah, give me your Starbucks order, because she had done that for us last time. So it was fun. I had a really good time there, but I'm actually glad to be back now. Yeah. You know, when you really love what you're doing, you want to get back to it.
Absolutely, man.
You know?
Yep.
And so I was like itching to get back and get into the cookie world again. All right. Well,
see, we got some stuff to react to over here.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is you brought this up, the Osama bin Laden raid situation.
All right, well, yeah. So the greater context is, and we'll get to it, but
mugshots not matching.
Yeah, right. Mugshots not matching, and then just pictures that the MSN mainstream news puts out to everybody is just wild. Like, is that supposed to not be done in Microsoft Paint? Like,
I mean, that first picture looks bad.
That is bad. It's like that was done in Paint. It wasn't even done in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So what the picture we're talking to? Can you go back up, easy? Is I'm guessing this is Osama bin Laden's like sea burial. This has got to be fake, dude. No, this can't be real. They didn't put this out. Okay. The picture that I'm talking about, I was referring to from memory, was like, hey, I remember when they were like, hey, we got him. We shot him, kicked him, buried him at sea. Thought it was funny. Why would you do that? I guess funny, not funny, haha, funny, like, something seems fishy there. And then they released a photo of this, like, blurry, like, night vision, green grayscale, zoomed in close-up side of a sort of dead guy's face. And you're like, that doesn't look like anyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anyone. Like, it's like this much, of something. And so, like, anyways, I just thought it was crazy that the world's most wanted person, that the world, was just like, yeah, cool, we got him. Yay, go Obama. I feel like he just did that to himself. And then was just like, also we threw him in the water. So then that fast forwards to the Epstein thing.
Oh,
that's a better one than I've seen. But, like, again, after the fact, I guarantee you that's doctored, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Epstein had one, but what sparked my thing was P. Diddy. And is this real? Because
it's hard to tell, because I think if you took, it looks like he potentially has had a nose job since the photo on the left.
Yeah.
So obviously, display the photos up here for amusement, but, like, I think that
it looks like the shape of Diddy's head has changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the one that I'm looking at on the right looks like one of the South Park aliens. If you change the skin tone, made it gray with, like, the eyes, big head, little.
Yeah.
So, anyways, conspiracy. He's a reptilian shapeshifter.
Well, like, even his ears look different.
Right.
Like, his ears stick out a little bit on the sides, and on this other one, they're, like, almost, like, straight back. So,
Is it a demon?
So I saw the Epstein one, and, like, literally the noses look completely different on the person that, they're claiming died in the hospital thing. I think the hardest part for me is, like, why would you lie about something like this? Other than, like, Epstein was so well connected, he's often somewhere just living his life. And
same with Osama bin Laden, dude. Like, whatever. We're going to get striked or whatever taken off. But, like, to run a network like that, you got to be connected to all the networks. So there's a vested interest in keeping you alive so that you can stay being connected to all those networks. And, like, anybody who gets these, like, dude, I'm sure was not just manipulating for his own regard. I'm sure it was for some intelligence organization.
Oh, yeah.
He hands down. Why would you otherwise?
Well, there's speculation / you've said this before, that Epstein was part of the
Mossad, yeah, Israel for sure. And Hugh Hefner, dude. Like, there was tunnels and girls and all this stuff, and, like, you hear about it and you think, like, oh, just the wild parties. But then you go on the other end of, like, the ammo that is usable against you.
Right.
And it was, they get you to do some bad shit, put it on camera. They've been saying...
Isn't that what Diddy did too, right? He is supposedly...
This is old school. This, like...
Blackmail.
They used to do it, or say they did it for Skull and Bones. Like, George W. was Skull and Bones and stuff. And they would get pictures of them doing probably gay stuff or whatever. I don't know. And then be like, we're going to hold it against you if you don't do what we say.
This is going to sound like a weird interjection, but this is just how my mind works when you brought up gay stuff.
Yep.
So Aubrey and I are watching, trashy TV, and we're watching Selling the OC right now, which is, have you seen Selling Sunset or any of those other ones? There's a group called the Oppenheimer Group, and they sell, like, $40 million homes and things like that. Well, they're obviously in LA and Selling Sunset, but then they have a OC branch, like Orange County, so, like, Newport Beach, things like that. So this season of, or this show is following them in OC, and this is, like, the third season. And there's this guy named Sean on the show who I've just come to find out he's bisexual. I knew that he was potentially gay, but didn't know what, but he's bisexual.
Ambitious.
And he started spreading a rumor about another guy on the show and his wife, saying that they were trying to get him to have a threesome with them. Okay. And at first, you know, you're hearing some of this stuff and you're like, dang, this sounds like really like legit stuff. Well, come to find out, him and this guy were like really good friends and they used to work out together and they're kind of like bros. And the gay or the bisexual guy, Sean, was taking some of the bro jokes as a little bit too real instead of being like, you know, I mean, I guess for people that don't know, like how guys joke around, especially like guys in the gym with each other, they'd be like, oh, you know, oh, nice legs, or, you know, and I don't know, like, you know,
I got it. Yeah, I got it. It's hard to call it on the spot without, but I get it.
I mean,
sure.
There's arguably some, like, I'll smack your butt, but that doesn't mean I want to have sex with you.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you, I'm saying I'll actually smack your butt, you know?
I don't like
but
that.
You don't want to smack your butt?
No.
Here's a piece of meat. Here's a piece of meat.
No butt smacking.
Here's a piece of meat.
Nope.
But no, that's just like he's like you commented on one of my Instagram posts, nice legs, and he's like, because we were working out together and your legs had grown, and I was saying like nice legs,
nice
you
legs,
know.
dog.
So it was
about it.
It was funny when they finally got into like an altercation about it, but it just made me think, you know, the other day, like my friend Adam came into the gym, the other Adam Paget, and I like jokingly blew him a kiss, and I was like, oh man, he may think the wrong thing.
Better be careful,
you know?
man. Hey, it's 2024, dude. It's all good now. Everybody love everybody. Yeah, I don't. Those shows are fucking retarded. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that's the gayest shit I've ever heard. The two dudes, like, bro, I gotta. Yeah, cool.
It's mindless TV.
It's acceptable. It's 2024.
I watch mindless TV.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get all that. Yeah, man, all that drama, all that manufactured drama, all that shit. I don't know what it's doing though to our youth. I mean, you're grown, you got a wife, you're stable, you got kids, you're doing whatever. But man, like, we don't need anybody out there trying to act that way or going like, you know what I'm saying? So
well,
like,
and it's pretty obvious that it's fabricated from an adult perspective. Like, I think if you're younger, you probably wouldn't see it. But it's like nobody's talking about all the, like, there'll literally be like 5 different scenes and different people are in different locations and they're all talking about the same thing. It's like, the producers are like, hey, tell me about this, you know?
Dude, I don't give a damn what your sexual orientation is or what your, whatever, man. Live it, be free. You know, doesn't bother me,
right.
Whatever. But like the shows that are like pushing that like a damn sexual orientation has to be a personality.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Or like a what, you know, like just has to be a whole kit, whole thing, you know, where you're just like, damn, man, we don't need any, you know, or young men acting that way. We got enough with that one. There he is, you know. Or whatever. We just, because, you know, we learn behavior. We do, to an extent. We learn behavior, you know, like great grandparents, you pull them out of the ground, probably have a heart attack, you know, or whatever, just because they ain't never seen nothing like that shit before. It wouldn't be all. So, like, we learn behavior, and, yeah, I mean, people have been all kinds of sexual orientations for a long time. They just didn't act certain ways.
Yeah, I think the hard part for me is there just seems to be like this never-ending iterations, and it's like if you're the identical as someone else, but except for like this one little facet, there's now this whole new term for what you are, and it's because we as humans want to belong to a community and a group, and we want this like individuality at the same time. So like it's just weird, I guess, paradox where like everyone wants to be different.
People want to be special without working for it, to be honest. Like, I mean, they just, you know, like, if you're born, I mean, I don't know. If you're born hella tall, good for you if you're into being tall, but you didn't really do anything. Bad analogy because you can't really do anything about being tall, but like, yeah, man, if people that wind up being funny or whatever, they worked on that, or intelligent, smart, you know, learn how to read fast or write well or whatever. Those are things that make you special.
Yeah.
And they put you in a kind of a group because you worked hard at it and you're kind of special in that group. And then, of course, there are victims, and that does kind of group. It's unfortunate, but it does kind of put people in a group because they have a commonality, a common belonging or whatever. Hopefully they maybe can find strength, bust through, whatever. Okay. But then it's tough for me to like, we're victims and we're special and we're victims even though we haven't been victimized yet. We're just saying that like the world is probably going to victimize or blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
Yeah, I get you.
But you're choosing to do it.
Well, I guess to echo with what you were talking about a little bit is the trans woman swimmer, Leah Thomas, is fighting quiet legal battle to compete in the Olympics. So the Olympics essentially came out. For those who don't know, Leah Thomas was formerly a male swimmer. I don't remember the ranking wise, somewhere like in the top 400, but like not the greatest, but still a good swimmer.
Better than me.
Became a trans woman and started competing in the women's NCAA events and was winning everything, crushing. And now, was trying to compete in the Olympics and was told that if they wanted to compete in the Olympics, they had to qualify as a man because they cannot swim in the women's events. And so that's just like, for me, having a daughter, I look at that and I go, I don't want my daughter to have to fight against other great women and men in a women's sport.
Yeah, I don't want anybody's daughter to have to.
Yeah.
It's just what is the frickin' point of having male-female sports categories if you're gonna just let it be changed? Listen, I understand. Hormones aside, I understand there is a depth of stuff going on there with trans people in general that I don't want to unpack. But when you were, I'm sorry, all the way up to you competed at it at that
College
same
level,
and then you just are now, you weren't born and been going through it since kindergarten. Even then, it's not quite fair. I don't know. I don't know what would happen if a human was born with the ability to run like a cheetah, but I imagine they would be like, you can't run in a race.
Yeah.
You just can't, man. I don't know.
Well, if I tried to modify my body in some way to run faster, I'm sure that it would disqualify me from racing.
True that. Man, and the fact of the matter is, I know a lot of the arguments that I see is very weak, but I see it on like a lot of liberal type media, and they make it out to be that like men are saying that, or somebody is saying that like women can't hang on their own. Look, every female swimmer will probably beat me at swimming, but not the higher level men. That's just the nature of physical athleticism. It's not that every man is just going to dominate it, but it's like, man, I don't know.
Well, like if you are a 5'9" woman, you're in the top 95th percentile for men.
Yeah.
If you're a 5'9" man, you're in the 60th percentile probably.
Yeah, average height.
Yeah, your average height. You're 50th, 60th percentile. Yeah. So everything aside, I think that I'm a super analytical person. I know you are too. The hard part for me to wrap my mind around is obviously fair is whoever's holding the measuring stick. Yep. They kind of decide what fair is. But at the same time, you have to look at something and say, it doesn't really matter that they are now identifying as a woman. Their hormones may be in line with the women. At some point, they weren't. And because of that, they are genetically gifted with different attributes.
Yeah, and there's a lot more going on than just hormones, right? That's the major precursor when we think athleticism and the building of muscles and the whatever. But like you and I both know that a bodybuilder can come off of and just be huge,
right?
Be, there's a difference in what lifelong male lifestyle, male everything is going to lead to. Males playing against other males at the same sports, denser bones, more fast twitch muscle fibers, like just.
I think females' testosterone levels are like between 30 and 50 or something like that.
Yes. And
men are between like 350 and 1100.
It depends on the people, yes.
Right. So
nanograms per deciliter.
Yeah, and so when you look at that, you go, no matter what, this person had a very long time at this like essentially minimum 3x testosterone levels, and even if a bodybuilder was injecting so much steroids that they were at 2,500 testosterone, when they go off, there'll be a small drop, but they will still maintain a lot of that muscle mass because they've already built it. It's not very intensive for the body to maintain it as long as they're eating enough protein. So genetically, it would be like being on performance enhancing drugs your whole life, and then just getting off
blockers. It's what it would be more like, because you'd be taking performance blockers, which also begs the question, because I've heard this talked about, is like if you're taking testosterone suppressive drugs, you're literally taking a drug. It's like the opposite of taking like a performance enhancing drug. How often do you take it?
Oh yeah,
when you're a professional athlete,
right?
What comes first?
I got you.
So then it's like,
because you could be training. You could be training.
Mental health. Well, you would if you're I've been an athlete. I would. You forgive. You go without all kinds of shit to chase the sport. You don't go to friends' things. You go to bed early. Like you would just. It would. I can't imagine. I've never taken a testosterone suppressive drug, but it would make you feel bad, or it would make you feel less umph.
So my grandfather had prostate cancer, and he had to take
I've seen it.
He had to take. Well, he had to take that drug, and he said, he said it was terrible. He said he was just depressed,
sleep sucks,
tired.
all that.
Yeah. Well, you know, actually, I think it's that Bigger, Faster, Stronger show. They interviewed Olympic athletes, and they said if you could take a certain drug that would guarantee you a medal, not even first place, just a medal.
Oh, everyone would take it.
But it killed you in 5 years.
Everyone would take it.
They all said they would take it.
Yeah.
So
it's different, dude. It's a drug.
Yeah. So I think the hardest part about all this for me is like I do understand the like appeal to emotions of like I'm just a female trying to swim against other female. I do. I mean, I understand it because I believe that some of these people, you know, I mean, mentally that's where they're at. The point is though, that doesn't make it okay.
I agree with you. I agree that when you like write it down, but then it's like, you know, if my daughter thought she was Spider-Man, like I might be like, yeah, okay, baby, yeah. And then at some point, knock that shit off. You're not Spider-Man. Get out of here.
Well, I think that's the hard part. Is where do you draw the line? You know, you've seen people like now say
how long do you have to go like, yay?
Yeah. Right, because if
coloring in the lines.
Well, because if your kid came up to you and said like, "I'm a cat," and like started meowing, you'd probably be like, "Okay, that's funny," like whatever. But then if they were like, "No, really, I'm a cat," and like you got to feed me in this like bowl and stuff, you'd be like, "No, I'm not doing that."
An outdoor cat. You come back in when you're an inside person. Yeah.
But yeah, so
you fix that shit quick as hell, man. I'm telling you, just like because and right, so many kids they will. And they're being they're testing. They don't know what the hell. I think it's leading to more depression than ever. When you don't even know whether you are like, what am I going to do with my life? You know, I can't afford anything because I have to eat avocado toast, and no one's going to give me any loans for anything except for debt on schools. And now I don't even know if I'm a boy or a girl or an animal or a mystical creature or whatever else they're allowing in now. I don't know whether it's satire anymore. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Is I'll see these videos and I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe he's serious.
Right.
It used to be you knew every time they were just being an idiot. And now you're like, this might actually be a job application video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this person just needs to get out front of everything that's most important to them, which is them.
Yeah. Well, the Boy Scouts of America is not going to be the Boy Scouts of America anymore. They've changed their name to the Scouting America to emphasize its commitment to inclusion.
Boy Scouts got a little Catholic there for a while, and you know, letting.
Well, my point
is some tomfoolery go on.
What's the point in having Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts if Boy Scouts can have everyone in it?
Man, I don't know. I went to the Boys and Girls Club, but it was a boys' club when I started, and I don't know. It used to matter because you used to do, not right. Like, oh, you say this. Oh, there's no such thing. Boy stuff. Like we're going down. Like Mr. Rod is taking y'all down to the creek that's over there. Y'all gonna cut through the woods and across the train tracks, like just letting y'all parents know. That's kind of just how they rolled at that one for a while till it got all formal. And then, you know, we're gonna like fish in this pond with some like shit people donated or whatever. Like it was cool. Most little girls don't want to do that shit.
Right.
Some might, but most don't.
Right.
And so, and then you've got the whole thing of like, then, you know, then there's mixed, and then it's like mixed staff. And I know, right, people should be instantly struck by lightning if they want to ever hurt a kid, but like you have to worry about having little boys and girls, and then the staffing and stuff. And so I don't know, man, Boy Scouts, I did that with for like one.
Yeah, me too. One time around
thing. Yeah. I don't.
Now it's like this ain't for me.
It was kind of whack. But I like the idea of it, right? Like I did the Army shit, man, and like there was a gratification to it. I wouldn't say it was fun.
I'm sure you had the people, some of your friends in the Army were like Eagle Scouts and shit.
Some of them were like, knew how to do everything already before, and I'm like just learning how to do it.
Right.
So, but it was very gratifying to have done that. So I think if I'd had a different experience with it, like, you know, that like hard, but like, look what I did.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling.
And
and especially for young boys, but they don't do that anymore. It's all lame. It's all soft skill, soft everything, you know?
Yeah, I think the hardest part for me is like, I understand inclusion, but like everyone shouldn't be included on everything.
I just don't understand why everybody has to be. Like, why can't the boys hang out over there? Why can't the girls hang out over there?
What if I identified as an NFL athlete? Is an NFL team required to pick me up because now I identify as an NFL athlete?
You stick that. I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah. I want front row tickets to every game, and I'll just sit on the bench right here and collect my $300,000 a year paycheck, you know?
Man, I don't know. It's wild. People only think about themselves. They want everybody else to think about only them too.
Which is completely opposite. Everyone only thinks about themselves. I actually was reading this in a book. It's like a lot of times people will be like, oh no, I don't like my glasses, or I have something on my shirt, and everyone's going to notice it. And then like in general, like no one notices it because everyone else is just thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you and your shirt and like all that stuff. And so it's, you know, it's pretty interesting, you know?
But yeah, they cut all those skills out. They cut all those, you know, useful things, tie a knot, how to splice rope together, how to do just useful shit. No one knows how to do it now anymore. They push for inclusiveness, but then it gets watered down because it's like, oh, the little girls can't do that, or like we can't mix them. We can't just go like, I mean, you know, like we would just strip down underwear and go swim in a lake or whatever, like just do stuff like that. And you know, at Boys and Girls Club camp and like, or Boys Club camp, but then when it became the other one, you couldn't do that. It had to be like formal and with chaperones.
Yep.
And it's because that's what happens when you mix boys and girls, right? So, but I guess 2024, that happens when you mix anyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I always said that, you know, when you look back 20 years from how far we've come on certain things, and then how far I feel like we've gone backwards on certain things, you know? Yeah.
Crazy times.
Just, it is what it is, I guess. I think that's probably all, because you got to run to a meeting, right? Yeah. You have a meeting. We're probably late to your meeting already. So thank you guys for joining us on In the Oven, and hopefully in the next like 2 months we'll have a new podcast studio, I think. So you can look forward to that. We're going to probably film some behind the scenes on getting that whole studio set up, but I'm hoping that, you know, in the next 2 months or so, we got a new studio cooking. So, and if you know anyone that's a videographer, we're looking to add to our media team. So let me know, Brad at fatandweirdcookie.com or Adam at fatandweirdcookie.com. Send us an email, and love to review your work. You must be local to Panama City. So come hang out and make cookies with us. Yeah, that's it. You're worth it. Do our shit.